one thing is, as many ideas as I have and as much experience as I have, I'm very reserved and have a hard time pushing myself because I'm not too sure what I'm capable of. I'm not too sure if I have the bandwidth to keep going. And since the accident in the last 5 awful years of my life, which were also wonderful, but the hardest I've ever had, I'm never sure how strong I am anymore. Until now, when you live through something like that, then it is sort of like, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's all the strength in the world, and it can take me 10 years. It could take me 2 years. It could take me 1 month. It doesn't matter, because once I want something, that's where I get. Those low points don't last forever. Those high points don't last forever. But
because everything is temporary. Your highs are temporary, but so are your lows. You just have to always remember, in this moment, this is just temporary. Like, even if you're at the top of the mountain, it's temporary.
Don't cling to it.
Yeah.
Just let
That's
it
not
live
your
through
identity.
you.
Welcome to the Mapuana Reed Show. Today, I have my girl back with me, Naomi Masina. And we're just going to talk about friendships and where we've been the last year, because so much has shifted for us in exactly 1 year span. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thanks, Mops.
Let's go on this journey, girl. Let's just talk story and go on this journey of a year ago. So share so 1 year ago.
So May 17th. We're May 17th. So
That's
exactly
today.
1 year ago, Ryder had just been hospitalized. He had
And Ryder is your son.
Ryder's my son. He's my 20-year-old son now. He was 18 at the time. He had kind of this freak medical emergency. He had cracked his tooth down to a nerve, and he was in a lot of pain. I thought it was just a regular fix-it job. We took him to get the tooth extracted. He got extracted. We made some calls. We went back and forth through the regular urgent care, and then we were ambulanced to Murray, and he had minutes to live by that point. So it was a crazy experience to look back 1 year.
1 year to the exact date.
To the exact date.
Yeah.
From when the hardest experience I had ever lived through began. My life's not been easy. It's not been awful, but there's been difficulties through my whole living experience. But nothing I had ever experienced prepared me for what we went through that year. And so to be here now on the other side of that, there's a whole lifetime. The time in the hospital from when we were admitted to today, what a difference of life.
Oh, yeah. 1 year.
What about you? Where were you at?
Oh, my gosh. 1 year ago, so not quite exactly 1 year to the date, but a year ago. So last year, I decided to launch my podcast, and I decided to put photography on hold. And also, I decided I wanted to create a space for women to come together and create events. So within a year span, I hosted 3 events, and then I hosted one big one. I hosted 3 events at Savan in Hawaii Kai, and then one at Turtle Bay that we just did 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
That was amazing.
So fun. Yeah.
Amazing.
But it's so crazy. We're always on this journey, right? All of us. And sometimes you're up and sometimes you're low, and it's just part of life. It's just part of the expansion.
Right. Like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
I kind of believe at some point in everyone's life, they're going to look at you and they're going to see, oh my gosh, look at Mapuana, look at her life, look at how she's created this beautiful thing, like Turtle Bay moment, right? You had this huge, beautiful event at this beautiful place.
It's my favorite hotel, Ritz-Carlton, Turtle Bay. If you're listening, go Google
incredible.
It and go stay there. It's so beautiful.
And we had beautiful women there. It was just this incredible event. And people look at your life and think, wow, look at her. I wish I could do that. And there on my side, there's times I know people looked at me and said, oh my gosh, I never want to go through that. And then those roles will switch, because those low points don't last forever. Those high points don't last forever. But
because everything is temporary. Your highs are temporary, but so are your lows. You just have to always remember, in this moment, this is just temporary. Even if you're at the top of the mountain, it's temporary.
Don't cling to it.
Yeah.
Just let
That's
it live
not your
through
identity.
You. Well, and the thing was, it was you had just released the last podcast I'd done with you, and it was really emotional. And I remember you sent it to me, and it was just such a rough day. And I went and listened to my own podcast about me saying, life's hard, but I'm going to be happy every day. And when it's hard, I'm going to.
And you listened to
and
that
I
while you were in the
listened to it
hospital.
while I was in the hospital. I was like, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah,
I want to listen to her. But the other thing that happened is while we were in there, it was that day that maybe it was like a day after, a day before today, but you and Sepa had called me and sent me the ticket to Powerhouse Women.
Yeah.
And you said, just no matter what happens, you've got to have something to look forward to. So when August comes, live or die, we're going to bring you out of this.
Yeah.
And you have to have something to look forward to. That one thing has changed my life.
But I remember telling you, like, just come, because listen, you're just if you need to go back home, you are just a plane ride away. Like, you could just go back home if you need to. Yeah. And it was like the best thing ever.
Yeah. Because at that point, when you got that ticket, you told me, Kim, I was like, I'm never going to leave this hospital. I'm never going to.
But he was already at home.
He was at home.
By the time the event
He was
happened,
home, but I didn't want to leave him.
Yeah.
Like, there was just so much trauma in what happened that even being out of the same room with him was hard for me sometimes. It was such a traumatic bond. It wasn't a bond where we hurt each other, but it was safety, and it was just with each other. And that's a very hard way to live. And he's my son. I'm his mother. We're not supposed to be like that, but it was an absolute life-altering experience to just live for one person and having 4 other children, my husband, a community, jobs, work that I just had to put down just to keep one person alive. Because if he didn't live, I didn't know how I was going to live. And I'd never experienced anything so clear. And then looking death right in the face and knowing I could handle it. Like, there just came a point. One day, he kicked me out of the room because I'd gotten mad at Nick for getting mad at him for yelling at me. But I'm the one who got kicked out, It was so traumatic. So the one I got kicked out.
Wait, hold up. How did I get kicked out?
I went downstairs, and that's when I ran away. And my daughter chased me, and I was like, if you follow me, I'll run. It was like the most 5-year-old thing I've ever done. And she tried to chase me, and I was like, I'm not. Like, it was the most out-of-body experience. But I went around the corner, and I found another building, and it was hot. And I remember sitting and just crying by myself under a tree. And that's when you sent me my own podcast, and I listened to it. But that moment, I realized to keep him alive, I had to set aside my fear. I had to look death right in the face, and I had to be brave because he needed to see my belief in him. And whether or not that's true, it got me through. I mean, I spend time thinking about, this is so shitty. Man, some good's coming. The good's got to be coming. And sometimes I believed it, and sometimes I would not believe it, but
it's the expansion of both ways. You don't only expand up, you also expand down sometimes, and it's leaving room for the up and the down.
That's so important to remember.
Yeah.
Because when you are
and
that
also
low,
know that it's temporary. Everything is temporary. But being in that moment where you're seeing your son who's on the bed, like, and you're like, are we going to make it through the next 10 minutes, through the next day? Like, that is hard.
Yeah.
That's like the hardest thing you ever do in your whole life.
Yeah, I never want to experience that. But if I do, and when other people do, there is such a compassion. You're so hopeful because he did live. And not everybody does.
Yeah. But now when things happen to you, do you feel like, I survived that?
Oh, yeah.
This is like...
I mean, everything. I look back on today, the hard things I face, it is manageable.
Yeah.
It is manageable.
Yeah.
Because I made it. I know that it's not good.
I made it through that. So if I can make it through that,
I think that's
point,
what we worry.
Anything.
Like, what is this doing to me? This is changing me forever. I will never be the same person. And that's true. You will never be the same person.
But it's life. It's the ups. It's the downs. It's all part of life. Yeah.
What's your moment? What's your moment like that? Do you have one where you
I mean, nothing like that. Like, that's really nothing quite as deep as that. But I think for me, it was like going through my divorce at 26. I think for me, that was a moment that had shifted me. And I was like, okay, no, I cannot be in this relationship anymore. Like, I am so done here, But it was making that decision and making that shift of knowing that I want something different, and I'm so willing to go through whatever
Walk through fire
I will
on the
do it.
coals. You don't
Yeah.
care because
I don't
there
care.
is something
On
else
the other side.
on the other side.
Yeah.
And
And it's believing that there's something on the other side that is so much better than what I have in this moment, that this is not me.
This
is
cannot
not
be
this,
life.
This
This
cannot
is-
be my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I choose for it not to be. I'm going to make a decision that this is not my life, and I'm going to create the life that I want.
And honestly, at 26, it
Yeah.
had to have felt just like that felt for me at 48, right?
Yeah.
Like it's how the much life we've lived. Like, how could you have known that the divorce would be fine, that Elijah would be grown up into a beautiful, wonderful son, that you would find Stan, you'd have these experiences, Masi and Faith now.
Yeah,
it's just like there's an entire life. You wouldn't have known that.
I wouldn't have known that had I stayed in that relationship.
Yeah. And you wouldn't have known it then, but you took that leap and you expressed desire for something different and something better.
Yeah.
And I think that always exists for us, even in the darkest.
It is about writing your next chapter. Like, what does your next chapter look like? And we talked about that at my event at Turtle Bay. Like, I think as women, or like just as humans, basically, like you go through these different chapters of your life. So for me, it was getting married at 19, getting divorced at 26, being a single mom, and then in my 30s, getting remarried, and then being a stepmom.
For younger kids.
Yeah, and then it's like all of a sudden I have a bunch of kids, So it was that. And then it was also that, and it was also going through like losing myself a little bit. There was a time I remember we were living in Studio City, and I broke out in hives. Like, my body was in so much stress. I literally broke out in hives from head to toe. It was like in my ear. It was on my scalp. It was on my face. It was every piece of skin on my body. It was hives.
Something's wrong, Mapu.
No, yeah. And so I remember I went to the doctor, and I was like, I don't know if I ate something that I'm allergic to. And she's like, no, you are under a lot of stress.
What was that stress?
It was just too, like, Stan was out of town working because he's always gone. And it was me going from being a single mom with just only Elijah to then stepping into motherhood with the girls. So I went from being a single mom to now being a mom of 4.
And they were teens, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's a tough time for girls, whether they're your kids or your husband's kids,
right?
Or your neighbor's kids.
It's a little bit harder if they're actually your stepkids, because like you have you're not really the mom, I
mean, they've always been so good. They've called you auntie, and you have a place, but that's a very hard barrier to break through.
Yeah. So
how many years did you think it took for you to build that relationship with the girls?
I think for the girls, I never tried to be their mom because they have a mom. And the same way where I have Elijah, like, I never wanted anyone to step in and to be like, that's my son. No. And I never wanted to do that. Like, I'm not your mom. I know my place. I am your stepmom, And so I think it helped because being that I already had Elijah, like, I knew my place as I am stepmom to these girls, And so I think it took a bit. I think, me coming into the relationship with my husband, it was, Brooke, I think, was maybe in the 8th grade at that time. That was a rough time, man, for both of us. I was like, girl, I need a shirt that says I survived the teenage years of Brooke. Okay. Yeah, I said, I'll get a trophy and you'll get a trophy.
And
okay?
while you're trying not to be her mom, but you're currently parenting.
Totally, because Stan was always gone and stuff, and the mom was gone. And so it's like, here I am, not really the mom, but playing the mom role and having to fill in for, Yeah, it was kind of rough, actually.
Hives, full body hives.
Yeah, hives, yeah. And so I remember the doctor said, she was like, you are under a lot of stress. So she gave me like a shot and all the hives calmed down. And she's like, you need to figure out what is making you so stressed and stuff. And it's not like I could go back and be like, oh, okay, I just need to rest now or whatever. But I think I needed to find that balance of motherhood, of being a stepmom, of finding my place. And so I think once I started to find that, I was like, okay, this to me is where I feel like my nervous system can handle,
Oh, man.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I just have to cough, guys. Sorry.
Okay. You got to start us off again.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I think it was just finding my place. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, after last year, I think then the journey forward is what from the darkness to the light, right? Like if that does really exist.
But you have to know too that when you're in the darkness, sometimes you cannot see the light, but just know that there is
It is
light
there.
there. Yeah. Because if you can go through that, and if someone is listening, and if you're sitting in complete darkness at this moment, you have to believe that there is light on the other side.
You know, when we fly to Hawaii in the winter time, and it's just gloomy here, and it's just low clouds and gray skies and gray burnt life here in Utah, and you get up through that first layer of clouds and the sun is still there. That's what I always think about, is how gloomy, how cold, how dead it feels here, but then we just break through that cloud and the sun's there and it's blue skies, and then we get to Hawaii, you know. That's always it almost always makes me cry, because it just reminds me of what that felt like, this gloom. And then going to Powerhouse Women with you and Seppa and spending that week. And I spent the first 2 days just at the pool by myself, eating all day while you guys did all your work.
Where is Omi? At the pool. I'm like, it's like 3 hours
meeting
in,
the
still
people.
At the pool?
Yeah. Just I that was my first 2 days, and then we went to the event, and I remember feeling like there's more. There's more life out here. I can keep going, and feeling that buzzy inspiration that I love, that start to like, okay, you know, I'm going to start dreaming. I'm going to start thinking about what could actually what my life could look like after this.
Yeah.
And then feeling so inspired by the women's stories, because they were tragic. They were like successful women, all these, but then
one of them was homeless. One of them was like sleeping on her mattress in her warehouse.
And then there's women, they're on stage and they've made it. And that was more important to me than the success. It was the absolute failure in their minds, or
how they made it out.
So most of what I love to focus on is how you made it out. What were the things that helped you get through the hardest times? Do you have any of those?
I think knowing that this is not what I want. Like knowing in that moment, like, this relationship is so bad for me. Like, I know I'm better off alone. I know me being alone, me being a single mom is going to be so much better than me being married to him. And, you know, and I also knew that if I were to stay, my son would be exactly like his dad. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to do that.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, that was
huge.
To me was my biggest. I was like, I refuse to have that. Yeah. But, you know, speaking of Powerhouse Women, but it's like buying a ticket and getting into the room. Like, that to me is like the biggest thing. Like, it could feel scary. Like, we bought the ticket for you because in that moment you were still at the hospital. And I just remember telling you. I
wasn't going to buy nothing.
Yeah. You're like, no. And I was like, oh, if I buy you this ticket, will you come? You just have to promise me that if you are able to, I'm going to buy you this ticket. And if you are able to, just promise me that you will come. But that's the biggest thing, I think, is this stepping into the room, whether you buy the ticket or your best friend is buying a ticket for you. That is the biggest thing that you can do for yourself, is get into the room, get into the arena. I say it so many times, or I feel like I should just print a shirt, like, get your ass in the arena, people. Like, don't sit on the sidelines and watch your life go by. Like, get in there.
Even if it's ugly.
Even if
it's
but just know, you know what?
I'm
going to get in the arena, and sometimes I'm going to win and sometimes I'm going to lose. And it is okay, because I'm not as hell going to sit outside of this. I'm not going to sit down and watch my life go by. I am so willing to get in there and do what it takes. All the ups, all the downs. That's part of life.
That is so you. That is so you. You're so good at that.
I can't sit. No, there's no way in hell I could just sit back and watch my life go by. I'm like, oh no. Buckle up. I just want to be in there, man.
Well, and I think that's a choice, right? You have to realize, well, for me, you guys push me so much, and I'm so lucky. Like, that's the one thing, is as many ideas as I have and as much experience as I have, I'm very reserved and have a hard time pushing myself, because I'm not too sure what I'm capable of. I'm not too sure if I have the bandwidth to keep going. And since the accident in the last 5 awful years of my life, which were also wonderful, but the hardest I've ever had, I'm never sure how strong I am anymore. Until now, when you live through something like that, then it is sort of like, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's all the strength in the world, and it can take me 10 years. It could take me 2 years. It could take me 1 month. It doesn't matter, because once I want something, that's where I get. But the wanting when you're in pain, and that desire to believe there's anything more, is the challenge. Like, I love that thing about 1 foot in gratitude and 1 in desire. That means you can create the life that you want by being grateful for the things that you have.
The good and the bad.
And still wanting more. Wanting more is a tough thing, like we talked about today. Were you meant for more? When we know it, we know it. And guess what? You are meant for more. But you have to be able to move toward it and believe it, and accept that it's okay to want something better. When it sucks, it's easy to want more.
Yeah. You're like, oh, this is not for me.
What's hard is when life is just good enough. It's just easy enough. It's just okay enough.
Yeah.
It's not bad. You've got a multi-6-figure company. You're running, you're making great money, you love what you do, and yet there's just this pull to something else. There's a relationship you have that is really great, but maybe not touching your soul, maybe not fulfilling. There's friendships you have that are convenient, but they're not inspiring. They're not fully supportive. So there's this life, that messy middle, right? That messy middle where you're not quite you, but you're not who you want to be. And I feel like that's what this year's been for both of us, is this messy middle.
But I feel like you're always in the messy middle, because when you get the life you want and you're there, for me, I just know sometimes I'm like, okay, like, what's next? Like, what is my next chapter? Like, what, I get there and I do all the things. I'm like, okay. So I feel like we're always becoming the woman that we are meant to be. You're always stepping into like, what's so next? True. What's next? You know, I want to get married. Okay, now you get married. I want to have children. Okay, I have children. I want to raise the kids. Okay, now you do all that. And now they leave the house, and it's like, okay, like, what's next?
That's so true. That is so true. That sounds exhausting to me when I think of it in that way. Like,
it's so funny because we're like so opposite.
I know.
It's exhausting for you, and it's
exciting
as hell for me.
So, like the same thing. We'll go and see that beach house, right? And I am devastated because I'm like, oh, this is the most beautiful place I've ever seen. I will never have this house. And you're like doing calculations. It would only take me 8 million, I can do it. Let's do it.
I'm like,
and I'm like, I will never be able to live in this house.
It's so funny. We're like two best friends, and we see things so differently sometimes.
Well, and ever since I'm so stuck on this nervous system thing. It's the capacity that my nervous system has to hold a dream. And because I think I have not allowed myself, for whatever reason, to really want things for myself, being in that space is so overwhelming. So when I want a lot of things, I just want nothing. So Sephora, we went to Anthropology. We go to these stores and they're beautifully decorated. Everything is cohesive. The design team knows what they're doing. Their smell, scents, the glass, the jars, the tables, everything is wonderful. My nervous system shuts down, and I can't even buy anything because I'm like, this is so great. But we go to like Ann Taylor and we just sit in the chair and talk to the people, and I'm totally fine because there's nothing that I want there. But it's when I want things, I really struggle.
I think to myself, I think that we're opposite in that way, because I think to myself, like, if I see something I want and another person created it, or like, suppose like if I have a friend who has like $1 million house and I go to her house and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I love this house so much. It's so beautiful. If she can do it, then so can I. And that's the way I think. And I think if you can do anything.
Yeah, it's true.
Anything,
you're right. You're correct.
Get anything you want. Like, honestly, like, and if someone else has done it before, then it's possible for you too.
That's how my husband is. That's how Nick is. He's just like, all he has to do is see someone do it. And he can, and
it's possible. If someone else can do it, it is possible that
obviously
you can too.
That is just, I'm not sure. My thing is that the work that I've been doing is why not me? Why would this be?
Why not you?
Why not me?
Yeah, why not you?
Why not? There isn't a reason.
Yeah. So it comes down to you're the only person who is holding yourself back.
That's true. I'm aware of that. And then the work around that is the actual thing that I have to figure out. And a lot of it is just trusting that what I want is right.
But how are you going to know? Everything is 50-50. How do you know? Like, it's not, like, you won't know until you try, because it might be wrong.
And it might be wrong, and you won't get it. It won't work out. You might as well go for it anyway.
You might as well go for it, because if you don't try, it's 100% failure rate.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth every hard thing was worth it. Every difficult thing, every rejection, every failure was worth it. And I know that. Like, I went to this yoga class the other day, and the lady said, like, imagine yourself 5 years ago. And I was like, oh, I know exactly where I was 5 years ago. Imagine yourself 5 years ago. What would you tell yourself? And the only thing I could think of, I mean, this is after the worst 5 years of my 48 years, right? The worst 5 years consecutively. You know, dad died, mom died, cancer, all of these things, and the stuff with Ryder, like so many heavy things over and over, transitioning out of so many things that I'd grown up with believing. And then, like, if you'd asked me at any point, is this, the life you want? Is it okay? And I would just feel so picked on and like, man, what did I do for all this to happen? Like, everything is getting taken and it feels like it's destruction, but it's a shedding. It's not, you're not losing anything except things that aren't really for you. So all I could think of was, I would just tell her it's worth every single thing, every tear, every broken piece of my heart, every sleepless night. What happens after is worth it. And I do really feel that. The person that I am, if this is what it took to wake up to me now, it was worth it. And if we fast forward 5 years, what do I tell that person? What is she going to tell me? It's worth it.
Yeah.
Every single failure.
There's this thing, and we did it today, that imagine yourself, you're 90 years old, and imagine if you get to come back to today, right now in this moment, and you get to tell her, like, what would you tell her? If you're 90 years old and you get to come back. If I'm 90 and I get to come back, I'm 51 right now, so come back at 51, I would be like, don't hold back. Just fully go for all the things you ever want, because like every year that goes by, you're getting closer and closer.
And who says we're going to live to 90, right? 90's the positive extended view of that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so if we're not going to live to 90, it's 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. What are you going to do with it? And all that happens in the now. All that happens is right now. We were talking about that in the car too, right?
Yeah.
Like, nothing is created in the future, and nothing can be made of the past but what it was. So every change that we want for the life that we would like to have happens right now. If you do feel good, then continue. If you do feel bad about what's happening, you change it. You're the only person. There's nobody else. No one else has to change for you. No one else has to behave differently for you. No one has to give you anything. And I think that is a trouble we find in most relationships, and the aspect of viewing our lives, the things we're dissatisfied with. I don't like it because so-and-so does this. I don't like this because my relationship here. I don't like it because I work at this job. Who decides? It's us. It's you. It's me. It's nobody else. And so that is a big shift for me this year.
Yeah. But to look back a year ago where I was, a year ago where you were, like the things that you've built your bath bomb. You're starting to build it and stuff, and to create that, and
that came directly from just being like, what do I love?
What if, right?
Yeah, the what if, like.
Yeah, I do this thing, and I do it like all the time. I do it, I would say like 4 times a day. It's called What If I. So I basically write it out on a piece of paper at the top, what if I? And it allows me to just dream big. Because if I start doing something, people do affirmations all the time and they do the I am. But for me, I think to myself, I cannot do the I am if I'm not that quite yet. Because then I think to myself, this is so BS. No, I'm not. Like, I am a millionaire. I am the owner of this house. I am so healthy. Like, and my mind is like, you are just lying through your teeth.
So this is how you access that part of you.
Yeah, so for me to access that part of my brain, I have to write what if I, because it just allows me to just dream completely big. Because
to step into the wonder.
What if I created this business? What if I put photography on the side at the peak of my career and start a podcast? What if I started to create these events with women? What if I create an 8-week course for women online? Like, and all of these things that were on my what if list, they're all now coming true.
So good.
Yeah.
But
it starts with the what if. Just ask yourself.
Because the what if allows you to dream. I do very well in that.
And dream freely without your mind telling you like BS. No, it's not.
Or how are you going to make that happen? Or what do you think? Who's going to do that? Like, but accessing that
it shuts off the negative talk.
And you can just be
Because
like,
it's like, well, what if? Yeah.
What if you got to dream big, and allowing myself to be so excited about something was huge. And something that, like, just for no reason, not profit, not
just to create.
Just to create. So that is my thing, is to be in a sense of creation. And for me, that's so pleasurable. So what I have built the last year, coming back from this devastating low, has been, I will not do anything that does not bring me pleasure. I will survive the pain that comes, the problems that happen. My one of my yoga teachers, she always says, pain is not punishment, and pleasure is not reward. Pleasure is the frequency of our lives. And as females, as women, that is where we create, and it creates with and from pleasure. So if we can access that point, we can truly create. And so that's all I've done this last year, is just what do I want to do? And do you know what I want to do? I want to take baths. And I took 1,000 baths because I needed the grounding.
This is the friend that we stay at the hotel. We're like, you need to shower last because you take forever in the shower.
Remember when you fell asleep and you thought I died? I thought I died.
I fell asleep while she was in the shower, or she was taking her tub bath. And then I thought I was sleeping for like hours, and I thought she didn't come back into the other bed, and I was just like, oh my God, did she drown? I was like, what do I do? And I was so freaked out. And then I went and I turned on the light on my phone, and then she was right next to me, like sleeping. I was like, oh my God, she didn't drown. She's right here. She's alive. I'm like, okay, good.
Because it can be hours and
hours in there. Yeah. So if you ever stay with this friend, like, you better use the bathroom because you can't get in there after she's in there. Okay?
There's one in the lobby. It's fine.
But that's part of your rituals. So
yeah. So that was the other thing, is the rituals. Like, I growing up, rituals were like, I don't know, maybe taboo. Like
yes,
a taboo word?
Exactly. It's like, is that like, it was like weird. It's like, I don't want rituals.
Yeah. Although ritualistic.
No, but like for me, I have my rituals where every morning I wake up and I drink lemon water, and I want to journal, and I want to sit in the sunlight and have that sun hit my face. Like, these are just basic things for me that I absolutely love. I light a candle, but your rituals is a bath.
Well, my night rituals are definitely so solid. Like, I get the house, we put the house down, and then once it's my time, and I lock that door, man, it's like I light the candles, I get the music, the salt baths that I like craft myself for the thing that I need at that time, and it has processed so much of my grief, that I couldn't let go, and the things that I cried for hours alone. That's my salt waters. I bring it to me
in a bath
bomb, in the salts, and I create that same environment so that I can get the smells of Hawaii, the feeling of being home. I'm so homesick. And I know I'm not the only one. You know, people like bathing, and maybe people don't, but that part of my life experience has saved me when I was so...
It's your connection back home, even if you're living in Utah.
Yeah, because I mean, for right now, I am here. This is where I live, and having that is so comforting. And I cannot be the only one, right? Like, people who just enjoy that and understand. People either understand bathing or not. Just like I'm getting into my morning rituals.
I'm like 50-50.
Well, you know.
Because I don't have a tub at home. I just have a shower.
And that's understandable. Like, even if, though, because you have to just like sit and let things go. People who can't do that, it's hard, because like I have friends that'll just like, they'll put the bath bomb in and they'll be like, okay, and then let it out, and I was like, that wasn't what it was for. but it's supposed to be enjoyable, and whatever that you do in enjoyment and pleasure, I think is something you should expand on. You know
what you should do is also, you should do like maybe like step 1, step 2, step 3. Because I feel like I'm a steps kind of person. And then like listen to this audio for breath work. Now get into the tub.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then journal after. And then,
I love it. And you got me into my morning ritual by simply saying, okay, imagine the greatest version of yourself. Like, if you could imagine the woman that you are, how does she wake up? What does she eat?
Exactly.
What does she do? And I thought about that for a long time, and now I have a morning ritual. So then now I feel like, I'm proud of the mother I can be now. And I was not proud of the mother I was, but I knew I couldn't do anything else. And that's a very difficult thing, to know that people around me are suffering because I cannot meet their needs. And it's the first time in my life that I couldn't do that. And that was where I gained a lot of my self-esteem and pride was that I knew I was a good mom. I knew I wouldn't allow my kids to go without. I'm a good, supportive wife. And I was none of that. I was barely surviving. And sometimes I didn't even want to have to keep surviving. So I know I wasn't even meeting my needs. So for an experience like that to now be in a place where I am showing up and doing the things, and it's almost like joyful. I can get out of bed at 6 a.m. And you know me, I'm like a sleeper inner, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yes, you are.
So many years of not sleeping and having so many children, it was like 10:30. You know, that seems like a good time on a weekend. You know, I could go longer.
I'm like 10:30. I did this. I did that.
She's
I woke
at
up at
4
4:30.
a.m.
I know. I'm a 4:30 a.m.
That's
kind of
gross,
person.
man. That's nighttime.
No, I want to watch the sun rise, and I want to like be there when it like first pops out over the ocean. And
Me
I'm like,
too.
it's the birth of a day. It's like the new day.
It is true. It is beautiful. And when
Yeah.
and now I could understand that. That's who I would aspire to be. And just to be closer to that person for myself, get so much done, still be able to do my yoga, still be able to do the workouts, come home.
And that's all
be
part of
creative.
your rituals
Yeah,
also.
yeah. So
the
my whole
yoga, like all, working out. all of
every
that.
single day.
Yeah.
And it's not a trial. Like I think I'm not a workout person, but I have
Yes, you are.
I am now, but like in my head I still like
I'm not a workout person.
currently. We'll see, because you could
Hey,
become
who knows? Next year, guys, I'll come back over here. You
Surprise.
might- a new woman might be here.
I know. Now I'm like, 2 hours. Maybe I can do 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, Grant, I'm over here thinking like, 15 minutes.
I
Ooh, I
know.
don't know, man. Is there a 10-minute class?
It's a little excessive. Like I still think it must be part of my healing that
Yeah.
that I can't like let that go, because I still need the comfort of the dopamine that comes and the clarity from doing the breath work. Like all of that has been so monumental, saving me from a darkness, but also creating such a beautiful light future that I mean, when you're in that space, there's nothing I'm afraid of. There's nothing that could happen. We could have nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. And that I've never
Yeah.
experienced that.
Because
like,
what you went through prior, it's like,
and so the little things, like it just feels so comforting to have comfort everywhere, having good times, having something to look forward to. So
Totally.
creating something with the salts, doing anything that's just this expression to put myself into it is really, really good.
In this moment, what's the greatest thing? Is it your bath salt, the greatest thing that you created right now? Like within the last year, is it creating your bath salts?
I think
it's
so.
just amazing.
I think so. I mean, the most true thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a bigger vision, right?
Yeah.
The thing that I want to do is to create the moon baths with the Hawaiian black salt and everything we're sourcing from Hawaii. But it's for the moon cycle. And so just understanding those parts cosmically and, astrology and the zodiac and all things, I really love
Okay,
it.
I want you to set a date on the podcast right now. Set a date. When are you going to do that by?
The moon baths?
Yeah.
What's today?
Pick a date.
May, June,
Today is
July.
May 17, 2025.
For the completion of the moon baths?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be completed as far as like
Marketing and everything, just the formulation?
just complete. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it never will. You're forever be.
June 11th, my dad's birthday.
Okay, girl. June 11th.
Okay.
Get ready, people. June 11th. Yeah.
Okay,
Get your
good,
credit
good,
card
good.
ready. She's going to have her moon bath stuff ready for sale.
Yeah. So I'll get that
So
done.
good.
And then
Okay.
we're incorporating
good,
a couple
there's
of other
always
things.
something you always have to be looking forward to something. So I'm so excited to look forward to this next creation for you.
And so that is in the creation, there's other creations. And
Yeah.
what we've talked a lot is how my nervous system gets I'm learning to regulate it. So what happens is I get overwhelmed. Like I have a goal and I have like $2 million.
Okay.
And I can't do it. This is Marissa talked about this too. Like you shut down. Like that's not something my nervous system can digest.
But if you think, what can I do in this moment?
Yes,
So,
so
maybe
I-
that's a big goal. But
Yep,
in this moment,
break
I
it
can
down.
source the salts. In this moment, I can create the logo. In this moment,
Yep.
I can do the website.
And so one step I can sell 100. I don't have to sell
exactly.
2 million, but I can sell 100 today. I can sell,
Yeah.
I can get it into a hotel today. I can email so many people and send them products today. Those are things I can manage. So I usually get overwhelmed because I'm a visionary, and then the picture gets bigger and bigger, and then I want to create this, I want to create that, I want to create this with it at the same time, but then I'm still here. So then I'm so overwhelmed I can't do it. So that's another thing I'm learning is I have to make sure that whatever my goal is, I can still manage my nervous system. Otherwise, I'll shut down and then I'm stuck. And I did not know this about myself, but I have seen it over and over. Looking back, this is what happened with photography, is I would get into it and love it, and then I would overextend my nervous system and then shut down, and then I won't book, and people will be calling to book, and I just I see a text come through, hey, I want to book you, and I won't even open it up because at this point I'm so overwhelmed because I'm so behind. So whatever systems I create for the future are basically to regulate my nervous system.
Yeah.
And if I can do that, there's so much more I can accomplish. But I didn't even know that until I talked to other women who were like me. I just thought it was some anomaly or some, incapable weirdo that just could not get the thing done. I can see what I want to do. I can feel that there's something there, but I don't know why I can't get there. Yeah. And having a friend like you who has this nervous system of steel, like we're with you backstage and talking to you, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you nervous? And you're like, what? No. And I'm like,
you guys make me nervous.
I know I can't ask you that anymore, but I'm like, I'm so nervous for you.
I know. I was like, but I don't even know.
Yeah, but it's good because I'm learning, and then to not think it's just this defect with me. Yeah. It's just that I have a very sensitive nervous system, and I need to grow in my capacity to experience more and still stay centered. And so that's my work. And so people don't understand, that's why I love yoga. That's why I love breath work, is because I can stay centered, and I can start engaging in my dreams without getting overwhelmed.
I think for me, it's I have the big goal, like a big picture, the big goal of what I want to do. And then I work backwards. And I think to myself, in this moment, what can I do? So my big goal was to host an event at the Ritz-Carlton Turtle Bay. And that felt so big. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like such a big goal.
You just did it.
But then for me, I had to host smaller events first. And once I did those smaller events, I felt like, okay, I could do this,
How did you learn to do that?
Well, I just took the big goal and just broke it down into something small. And I was just like, okay, well, this is my big goal, but like a mini version of this is this, and that's what my nervous system feels comfortable with. And I was like, okay, I could definitely do this. I could host an event for 20 people, 20 to 30 people. That's
a couple times.
A couple times a year, like getting my feet wet. And then I was like, well, if I can do this for this many people, I could do it for 75 people. And now that I just did it for 75 people, I'm like, oh, my next one, I can do it for 150 people. But that also led from that into like, oh, I want to host an 8-week course, and I want to teach people my process on exactly how I got to where I am in 1 year.
Very effective.
Yeah,
True,
like the blueprint. So like if I could do this, then so can you. The same way how I see another woman, if she can do it, then so can I. But if I can do it, then so can you. And so the 8-week course for me is just like, it's so exciting because I'm so excited to teach women my process, but also to see where they're going to be in a year from now.
That is so exciting.
It is so
just seeing
exciting.
other women with their goals and dreams.
Yes, like where are they going to be? Yeah, because I have like my there's my what if process. There's a who am I now. It's there's like so many steps that I do that I just think that I just do so naturally.
You do, and it's great to see your consistency.
Yeah.
Because for me, I value consistency more than the sizzle, right? I mean, I'm married to Nick, and he has like sizzle king. He's sell everything, sizzle. He sizzles all the time. And I'm not a sizzler. I'm a consistency. So you show me sizzle, that's fun and enjoyable, but I want consistency. I want to see consistency. And you are that for me. You just continually go into it with such like determination and fearlessness that it's not like a one-off. Like, I mean, anyone can do it one time.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have gone from nothing to 75 people at Turtle Bay.
Yeah.
That would have been overwhelming.
But
you did it from...
I can do it, so can you.
Yeah. And you did it by breaking it down in this process. It's super
all these steps.
Manageable. Yeah. And that is absolutely marketable and needed. Women need to know how. Because
I want to teach you how. Because I'm that person like, okay, well, how? Like, it's okay to be like, dream big, and I am this and I am that, and what if, and I write it all down, and
be
like, well, what next? Like I have all these dreams, like how? Just show me how.
And so
how do I
bring
what
your
this
8-week
to
course
is. So my 8-week course is going to be it starts May 27th, which is like 10 days. 10 days from now. Yeah, it's going to start May 27th. We're going to meet online. If you're in Hawaii, we could possibly meet in person. And then it's going to be, I'm going to take you on all the steps that I did.
Is it group setting or is it individual?
It will be no, it's going to be
It's group setting.
Yeah.
So there'll be a place potentially in Hawaii, maybe like Savant, or
Yeah, it'll probably be at Savant.
and then
where
they
if you
can
get to
come,
it,
and then everyone else will be online.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
And then, so you could either join us in person or it'll be online. If you're not in Hawaii, you could just join us online. And it's 8 weeks. I'm going to take you through the exact steps of how I got to where I am today. And then the women who helped me get to where I am, they're going to come on as
That's
guest
wonderful.
speakers.
And that is not something that is fabricated or sizzled. That is the reality. You want a step-by-step process of how to make your dreams into reality.
Because it's fun to just dream big, right? What if I do this? What if I do that? And then you sit there with this list and you're like, okay, what now? Like how?
Yeah. That's my 2:00 in the morning growing up. Every once in a while, I'd experience this moment. I'd be up at night at 3. This is from the time I was in my teens.
Yeah.
And I would have this dream and I could feel like, oh my gosh, I can conquer the world. I can do anything.
Yeah.
And that feeling was so nice, just so juicy.
Yeah.
And then I'd wake up in the morning and be like, nah, still me.
Right?
but
Imagine if you had a community of women who hold you accountable and a step-by-step process on how to do all the things that you want to do.
And staying in that good energy, that recharge. I mean, it isn't impossible. I didn't know how to do it before, but like every time I'm short, every time I'm a little bit low, every time I'm a little bit uninspired, I will go and see you. I will go to Hawaii. I'll go have a girls' trip. Yeah. And it just reignites me. So don't feel discouraged if things flare up and then sizzle down. I think that is a nature, the rhythm of life and business. But you just have to know that high wasn't a lie, and that low isn't the truth.
Yeah.
But if you find a steady
in your
support,
to support you, and to, even when you start to forget your own dreams and think like, oh, maybe I'll put myself on the back burner again, and we're like, oh no, hey girl, like what? You just said, what, July 11th? That's your dad's birthday?
June
11th. Okay, so I'm going to hold you accountable for that.
I'll have it
but
done.
You need women like that.
No, I absolutely do.
Yeah. Everyone, I need it, you need it.
Well, some people are so well-functioning and they can make plans. I just make ideas and dream big, and I love all my ideas, and I have 1,000 of them.
But I'm going to be there to make
and
sure
then
these dreams come
I've
to
built a
life.
support system now that makes sure I'm accountable to it. And watch out, man.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you want to join us, it's going to happen May 27th at mapuanareed.com/blueprint. And I'm going to take you through the exact steps that I use to get to where I am.
I believe it.
And I don't think I'm special. I'm just ordinary. I'm not.
You're special, but you are also ordinary.
Yeah,
but
I'm
you're
very
special.
ordinary.
Like, I mean, every time you said that, I'm like, no, she's special. You are special, and I don't want you to ever lose sight of that.
Yeah. I just
you are
believe
not
if someone else can, then
exceptionally different. That this thing you're doing is an anomaly. You're capable, and so is everyone else. But you are sure as hell special. Don't ever say that.
Thanks, girl. See, we all need that one friend who's just going to be like, oh, no. Yeah. But I just think that, honestly, if I can do it, then so can you. If you have these big dreams that you want to step into and you want to bring to life, like, you can do this. Like, if I can do it, and I live in Laie, in this small little town, you can do anything,
That's true.
Yeah,
That's a good view on what our capacity is, right?
Yeah.
And nothing's out of reach. Did you ever think you would be here when you were that little girl in Laie, visiting grandma?
No, I didn't even know at that point what my life would be like.
What did you think your life would be like at that time?
When I was in high school, living with my grandma? Living with my grandmother, I think it was like it was like living with this little Samoan lady who was like Oprah and Tony Robbins and Mel Robbins, like all in one, with like who English was her second language. So, yeah, she made me feel like anything is possible, and I truly think that that's where I get a lot of it from. She made me feel that nobody is better than me, but I am no better than anybody else.
Did she make everyone feel like that?
I felt that way. Like, she might have, but I felt like
you just knew for you she was that.
Yeah, like for me, she was my everything. She was the woman who believed that I could do anything. And I thought, well, if you believe I could do anything, then yeah, maybe I can do anything.
What does that mean to you now, to have that memory?
I think to have that memory of her believing so much in me, it gave me, like, when you're a teenager, like, I think for me, like, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I could do anything. But having my grandmother who loved me so deeply, and to to be able to live with her, and like her home was the only place that I felt safe. It's the only place that I felt loved, like fully just loved unconditionally. It felt that I could go out into the world and do anything I ever wanted to do and be anything I wanted to be, because I had this home to come back to. I had this love that would never leave me. Like I had this love from this woman who loved me regardless if I succeeded or if I failed. Like I could come home and be loved. And that is what made me feel so fearless to get out there and do anything and get in the arena and just try.
I think that's the cheat code to life. And I think that's why I love and lead with love the way I do, is because I had that at one time in my life. And it, knowing what someone else sees in you is so beautiful, and so you see it in their eyes. And you can't deny it. I know how valuable that is. And it's the rock of everything that I build my life by. And when I see and hear stories, and I know your grandma was that, I see the effect on you. And that's what I want for everyone that I love, everyone around us. I want it for all the women, you know?
Like, I want that for you too, for the women listening on this podcast, or who, if you come to one of my events or whatever it is, I want you to know that you can go out into the world and be anything you want to be, because you will have a community of women that is your safety net to come home to.
Amen, girl.
So I was like, if it doesn't exist, I want to just create it. And I want to invite women to join us.
Because how many people don't have that? How many people haven't experienced it? Because in the life that I've had, it's been very beautiful and full of love. I don't have it everywhere. I've experienced it a few times, and it's changed my life, and it's been that anchor for everything that I've ever believed I could be. And everything that I've ever wanted stems from that. You're doing it, girl.
This was so good. Like, I didn't know. We're like driving here. I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about, girl. We're just going to get on there. We're going to figure something out. Okay. So I'm like, welcome to our friend group. It was so good. Thanks, girl. Thank you for sharing all that you did.
We're still in it. That messy middle is still really...
Oh, for your whole life, we're going to be in the messy middle.
Right.
And then when you hit the top of one... No, it's life.
You're right. We're never impressed with ourselves.
Because once you get to the peak of one mountain...
That's who you are. You're that strong. And I think that's the thing we forget. Like, I think, well, what would it feel like when I'm a photographer? Well, then you become a photographer, and you're just a photographer. What it's going to be like when I'm married. And you're married, and you're just a wife.
What's it going to feel like when I have children?
You're a wife. You have kids. You're a mom. You're never impressed with yourself.
Because you're always thinking, like, what's next?
I'm never impressed with myself. It's just like, okay, what's next? But then I think... Is there a time?
But if you look back and you look at that life that you just lived, and it's like, oh, this is my life. How beautiful this is. This children that I once just wished for. This life, married to this man that I once wanted in my life, you know?
The podcast that you once dreamed of having.
And it all starts with the what if I.
Yeah.
What if I. This is so good. We're going to end it right there. I want you to all dream. If you're listening to this, write on the top of a paper, what if I. Light a candle, set some good music, and just let yourself dream. Because that's how I started. What if I? Thanks for listening to the Mapuana Reed Show.